So for the longest time now in the UFC, there's been a discussion about which weight class is the best and which weight class is the worst. So I thought, why not make a tier list video today and rank each and every division, male and female, on that tier list, S through F, and we can find out where each division belongs. I've got them all lined up around the perimeter here. Each and every champion of each division, I'm going to place them where I believe they belong. If you disagree with me or agree with me, leave it in the comments below. Also, if you want to see more of these tier list type videos to do with MMA and the UFC, please like the video and let me know, because I'll do one for strikers, I'll do one for grapplers, I'll do one for hairlines. I don't really care. I'll stoop as low as I can go to get some content for this channel, but I'm going to slowly get into it right now and start dragging these guys into position. We have one right here, Alexander Volkanovski, who I believe belongs in the A tier. He is the champion of the featherweight division. The featherweight division, in my opinion, belongs in the A tier section. It's not quite S tier in my opinion in terms of skill level. The depth of talent isn't the same as some of the other divisions in the UFC, but it's still one of the best divisions out there right now. Featherweight division, always talented, always skilled at the top. But I want to really base this video on, first of all, skill level of the division in general, and also the depth of talent of the division, because at featherweight, I feel like we don't quite have the same amount of big up-and-coming contenders as we do outside the rankings in other divisions, so I'm not yet going to put it in the S tier. When I get to the end of the video and I've put everything everywhere, maybe I'll switch a couple of them around at the end of this, but I feel like right now the featherweight division belongs in the A tier. We've seen a lot of featherweights try and move up to the lightweight division as well, which I guess we can go straight to next. Khabib Nurmagomedov is the champion of the lightweight division. I think he belongs in the S tier. The lightweight division, in my opinion, is one of the better divisions. I mean, McGregor ran through the featherweight division. Now he's having trouble at lightweight. Max Holloway had trouble when he moved up to lightweight as well. Dustin Poirier's done pretty well for himself, but Khabib Nurmagomedov's lightweight division, and I know that Khabib is retired, by the way, but let's be real, it's still his division, and even if the champion is crowned out of Chandler and Oliveira, it can still be seen as Khabib Nurmagomedov's division. So I think the lightweight division is one of the better divisions in the UFC right now, definitely worthy of the S tier ranking, and we'll see if anyone can join them as this video goes on. But right now, I think featherweight's at A, Khabib's lightweight division is at S. Lightweight has always produced a lot of pound-for-pound guys. I think it has the most pound-for-pound ranked people out of any division in the UFC. I mean, you've got like number 3 and 4 contenders that are on the top 15 pound-for-pound list across all weight divisions in male MMA. So lightweight is definitely one of the best. They've got some of the best strikers. They've got some of the best grapplers. And I think that's exactly where it belongs. The lightweight division at S. The A tier belongs to Alexander Volkanovski's featherweight division, and another one that belongs in the S tier region, in my opinion, is the bantamweight division. Now, I know what you're thinking. MMA Guru, you're making Khabib for the lightweight division, Alexander Volkanovski for the featherweight division. Why not Aljamain Sterling for the bantamweight division? I'm talking about who the best fighter in each division is, and Petr Yan is, in my opinion, still the bantamweight champion. Not my champion, Aljamain Sterling. I don't mean to get political here, but he's not my champion, okay, in the bantamweight division. Petr Yan, the best bantamweight in the world right now, and that division is on fire, and it has something that I feel like featherweight lacks outside of the rankings, because it has so many up-and-coming contenders that aren't even in the top 15. Like, fair enough, featherweight has a lot of guys that are around the 15 to 10 area that are looking to make a break for it and get up those rankings, and also has some great fighters at the top of the division as well, but I don't think featherweight has as many Adrian Yanez's or Sean O'Malley's outside of the rankings, or Ricky Simone's outside the rankings as well, that are on the rise, that aren't even at the top 15 yet, that are still showing so much skill. I mean, Adrian Yanez, who's recently popped up on the scene recently, he's got like the boxing skill level that you could see in a light heavyweight title fight. I mean, the bantamweight division, in my opinion, belongs in the S tier section. And now it's going to get a little bit tricky as we go down this list. Here's where the difficulty comes. I'm going to start with this guy on the left, who is Jan Blachowicz. I believe he probably belongs in the B tier position here. The light heavyweight division, in my opinion, is one of the better upper weight classes in the UFC, and I think that's been proven recently by him beating Israel Adesanya. Now, I know a lot of people are going to tell me that that's only because of a size difference, but I'll tell you this: Jan Blachowicz out-technically struck Israel Adesanya at range for the first 3 rounds of that bout. That's just what happened. And I think that Jan Blachowicz recently has put the light heavyweight division on the map, beating a lot of middleweights that have been trying to come up. Jacare Souza, Luke Rockhold tried to come up as well. Now Israel Adesanya's tried to come up. Jan Blachowicz has held strong in that division. Dominic Reyes ended up beating Chris Weidman when Weidman tried to make a jump up to the light heavyweight division. I feel like the light heavyweight division has held its own. I really do. Plus, DC eventually went up, and even though he lost a trilogy to Stipe Miocic, he still showed that he could hang up a weight class. And Daniel Cormier is not the biggest light heavyweight frame-wise. I mean, I've always said this. Daniel Cormier is a fat flyweight, let's be real. I mean, Jan Blachowicz is lightweight division. Light heavyweight division, I believe, belongs in the B-tier list. It's not quite got the depth of talent outside the rankings, but inside the rankings, I think we're really seeing a change right now. I mean, you've got guys like Alexander Rakic, Yuri Prochaska, Magomed Ankalaev, Jimmy Crute, Johnny Walker, I guess, is looking to make a rebound soon. Jamal Hill has recently joined the rankings as well. He's put together a nice little win streak in the UFC. I feel like we're finally getting to see a lot of contenders making it to the top of that division, and I think it belongs in the B list because it's not quite the level of depth that the featherweight, lightweight, and bantamweight division has, but the skill level remains seen, and I think it belongs in the B tier part of this tier list. Moving on, who I'm going to pluck out next. I guess we can pluck out this guy, Australian flag. It's Israel Adesanya and the middleweight division. I'm putting it in the C area here. Okay, I wish I could actually put it in the C in terms of the ocean, because the middleweight division, in my opinion, is quite possibly the worst male division in MMA right now, I would argue. It is really, really terrible. You saw Israel Adesanya make it to a belt without realizing that he had to close his guard when he's on bottom. You've seen guys like Derek Brunson be one fight away from a title shot in your division. Kevin Holland versus Derek Brunson was embarrassing to watch skill-wise. It really was. And I find myself really thinking that a lot when it comes to the middleweight division. I think it's probably one of the worst male divisions in the sport right now. I'm not hating on Israel Adesanya right now. I think he's very good. But I think it's very clear that if a guy that looks and fights like Derek Brunson can ever get near top 5 of your division and be one fight away from a title shot, your division doesn't deserve to exist, in my opinion. Look at Derek Brunson. Look at the way he fights. That's all I have to say, really. Okay, and you see guys like 7-time Jiu-Jitsu world champion Rodolfo Vieira get choked out by Anthony Hernandez. I mean, I just don't really see a lot of these streaking contenders in the middleweight division with that crazy skill compared to these other divisions in the UFC. I think that in the C position is where this division belongs. Middleweight division at C tier. It might seem a little bit harsh, but it has to go somewhere on the tier list. And I don't think it's as good as light heavyweight division because, as I've said before, middleweights have tried to make that jump, and a lot of them has failed as that's happened. I know Anthony Smith and Thiago Santos were very successful originally, but now we're seeing them start to slide. And the guys who jumped up after them in the middleweight division, like the Weidmans, the Jacareys, and the Luke Rockholds, they didn't seem to really fit in at light heavyweight as much. And then especially Israel Adesanya going up to fight Jan Blachowicz again. Wasn't to do with that much of size, in my opinion. Now, fair play, if you want to talk about the 4th and 5th round, maybe you can argue that. Jan Blachowicz out-technically struck Izzy, and I never thought I'd see that in my life. I think I've got to really take what I saw there and what I saw in the Derek Brunson versus Kevin Holland bouts and realise this division is total fucking dog shit. It has so many sloppy performances non-stop. I'm going to have to put it in the C part of this video. I'm sorry to all you Israel Adesanya fans. It's the worst male division in MMA. Moving on to someone else. Who is this right here? It's Weili Zhang. Shut up, she tells me. I'm going to put her in the D tier area, in my opinion. The women's strawweight division is really good, okay? I know I'm putting it in the D position here. It's a very good division, but it's also female MMA. So there's only a certain level of tolerance I can have on how high I put this up the list, in my opinion. D tier is where I think it belongs. That's me actually being really nice about the women's strawweight division. The top contenders at strawweight are really good contenders at strawweight. Ioanni and Jacek, very technical. Weili Zhang, very technical. Rose Namajunas, very technical. You got Andrade, until recently she moved up to flyweight, and I guess we'll figure out where she sits there. But in the strawweight division, she's been very technical. And even some of the girls that are lower down the rankings seem pretty technically sound for women's MMA. So I think in terms of women's MMA, strawweight leads the charge, leaps and bounds above the rest. But as it goes down below those rankings, you start to get some of these clingers on, and it doesn't quite have the depth of talent that these other divisions in the male part of MMA have. So I'm going to put it at the D position of this list. Weili Zhang's strawweight division belongs right there, and I'm going to move on to someone else. Valentina Shevchenko. I believe her flyweight division, what do you know, it's just F, so it actually stands for flyweights. That's very nice. Valentina Shevchenko belongs in the flyweight division, or not in the flyweight division, she owns the flyweight division, but belongs in the F tier part of this video. The women's flyweight division, it makes me feel physically sick. I would rather die than watch certain women's flyweight bouts. I feel like the champion is very good. I'm not shitting on the champions here, by the way. I'm really not. The champions of each division are obviously really skilled. They're the champion of a division in MMA. I understand that completely. I've just got to be a little bit rude here to really get an accurate reading. The women's flyweight division is F. It's F tier. It's absolute dog shit. They're a bunch of shadow boxers. I swear to God, outside of the top 3, top 2 of the flyweight division, maybe now top 3 since Andrade just joined in as well, they all just have no idea what they're doing. I watched Macy Barber versus Alexa Grasso. I watched Macy Barber, a girl who could tear through the unranked part of her division, shadow box a mile away from her opponent. Roxanne Modafferi looks blind! Roxanne Modafferi looks blind! I've got to put it at F tier. It's absolute dog shit. I'm sorry, Valentina Shevchenko. Moving on to someone else. Who is this champion? Deiveson Figueiredo. Right. Now, this is interesting. I don't think I'm going to put it in D tier. But actually, in terms of male MMA, I think I'm going to have to. Judging by my own theory of, like, depth of talent, I think I'm going to have to go with D tier here for the men's flyweight division, actually. I don't think that Israel Adesanya's middleweight division is the worst out of all of them. Now, based on skill level, I think the actually, I can't. I have to put the men's flyweight division at D tier. It's not as bad as the women's strawweight division, but in terms of, like, from a men's perspective, I think it belongs in the D tier list. So maybe I'll do something like this, where Weili Zhang sort of just sits above Valentina Shevchenko, and Deiveson Figueiredo sort of sits a little bit up above the D tier section. I feel like Deiveson Figueiredo's flyweight division is really good. There's a lot of technical talent there, but the depth of talent is just not the same. Whereas I maybe believe that in terms of watching it skill for skill, the flyweight division looks technically better than the men's middleweight division. The depth of talent isn't there. The danger getting to the rankings isn't quite there either. But it's getting there. And I think the flyweight division could make a real climb up this list, which is why I've got it sort of rising up to the C tier category anyway. I think it's a very good division. It just doesn't quite have that depth of talent that the middleweight division has. But the middleweight division doesn't even fucking have that depth of talent. So I don't even know what I'm talking about. Maybe it does belong in the C tier. But Israel Adesanya's is above it, I would say. But I think the flyweight division is good. The skill level we have there, the newcomers we've got coming through. I mean, we've got, Howlian Paver coming up the division right now. I know he's been here for a while, but we've also got guys like David Dvorak coming up the division, Tagir Ulanbekov coming up the division, Manel Kape. Should have beaten that guy that he fought. I can't even remember his name, in all honesty, but should have beaten that guy in his last fight. I don't know how they didn't give him that decision. It was a very clear win for Manel Kape. He could be seen as a newcomer that's really making some waves right now in the UFC, but I guess he's going to have to bounce back soon. In terms of the depth of talent, I don't think flyweight's quite there, but skill level-wise and regionality-wise outside of the UFC, I think I'm going to have to bump it up to C tier. I can't put it in the same position as I do a division of the strawweight women's divisions. With a straight face. I can't do that. I can't put it at D. I can't put it with women's strawweight. That's just disrespectful in my opinion. So I'm going to put it at C, but we're going to move on to someone else. Who is this right here? Kamaru Usman. I believe belongs in the A tier section. I faked you guys out there for a second. Okay? Wow, even the fucking crop has taken out his hairline. But, all good. Kamaru Usman, in my opinion, belongs in the A tier division. Welterweight is a great division overall. It's got a lot of talent. It's got a lot of danger as well, because I think welterweight's like that perfect balance of power, skill, speed, everything combined into one. Usman is at the top of that division, and I think one clear sign that it doesn't quite match up to the lightweights in S tier is the amount of lightweights that have moved up to the welterweight division that have had a lot of success. RDA moves up, goes on a massive winning spree. Chiesa moves up, going on a massive winning spree. Masvidal moves up, goes on a massive winning spree. Donald Cerrone even seems to do better in the welterweight division at times. I don't even know, but at one point Donald Cerrone had a big run in the welterweight division, so I think it belongs A tier. I can't quite put it at S. I don't think it's as skilled as the men's men's featherweight division, but it does have the depth of talent that I'm looking for. You've got newcomers coming up like Miguel Beza, Mikel Pereira, Muslim Salikov, I guess, but I thought he lost to Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, so I don't even know if I should mention Muslim Salikov. But there are a bunch of rising contenders. Sean Brady, Li Jingliang recently announced themselves on the scene. I'm looking forward to this division's growth, and I think it belongs in the A tier right now. I just think if I was to think about this in terms of who are the best strikers in the UFC and who are the best grapplers in the UFC, I would have to include Usman, Colby, Wonderboy, Luke K maybe in terms of striking. There's a lot of guys you have to include when you're talking about other discussions about the best of in terms of striking and grappling. So I think the division itself has to be there, even if it doesn't quite show the same skill level as these lower divisions. I'm going to put it in the A tier list. Moving on to somewhere else, Amanda Nunes. I'm going to do this as with bantamweight. I think I have two Nuneses. So this is the women's bantamweight version, so I'm going to make it a little bit skinnier, just to make it very clear. Amanda Nunes' women's bantamweight division. F tier, please. It's absolute fucking garbage. Ciara Eubanks is ranked, and she's 4-4. I shouldn't need to say much else. That should end the conversation right there. It's completely dead. There are no skilled fighters there whatsoever. Holly Holm is still at the top of the division looking to earn title shots. Age should have passed her up by now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how Holly Holm is still able to beat all of these newcomer contenders while not really looking like she's improving whatsoever. Juliana Pena is about to get a title shot. And you know what? Just because Juliana Pena is about to get a title shot, it definitely belongs in the F tier position of this video. Moving on to someone else who has a belt right here, and it's Francis Ngannou and his heavyweight division. I think it belongs in the B tier list. Now, I know people are going to call me crazy here. You can't say the heavyweight division is better than middleweight. I fucking can. It's much better than middleweight in my opinion. Especially recently. We've got a lot of newcomers into the division. A lot of new talented guys. You've got Tom Aspinall. Sergey Spivak's on a win streak right now. Tuivasa just bounced back, but not really on the same situation because he was on a losing streak before that. But you get my point. You've got a lot of up and coming new guys. Romanov versus Espino is taking place soon. You've got Sergey Pavlovich waiting for another bout in that division. I think the depth of talent is now there where it wasn't before. We've got rid of some of the old weight in Alistair Overeem and Junior Dos Santos, and the top of the division is looking a lot more fresh. Cyril Gane, other guys at the top, the danger in the division, the striking of the division. I just like the division overall. I think I'm going to put it in the B tier area. Purely based on outside of those rankings, I think it's really upped its game recently in terms of contenders. But do I think it's upped its game bigger than the middleweight division? Oh, wait, yes, it fucking has. I genuinely feel... Because when you look at the... I think Cyril Gane is ranked around number 4 right now at heavyweight. He might be ranked number 3. Either way, it's one of Cyril Gane or Alexander Volkov. Actually, now that Stipe's not champ, maybe Cyril Gane is going to be ranked around number 3 or 4. Compare their skill level to Derek Brunson. Brunson looks like he's fighting underwater. I think the heavyweight division's rankings with these newcomers and new contenders is starting to look a little bit better than middleweight right now, so I will go with the heavyweight division belonging in the B part of this video. Moving on to the last one on the list, and that is Nunes again, but this time at featherweight, so I'm going to make her a little bit wider. All good. Get the fuck off my screen, you disgusting bitch. The women's featherweight division shouldn't fucking exist. And that brings an end to my video. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Let me know if you agree with me. If you don't, what I should change. What other tier list videos you'd like to see me do. Goodbye. I'll see you later. Like and subscribe. Yeah.